Candace Parker, one of the best women's basketball players in the history of basketball, in her prime in 2016, was left off the 2016 Olympic team. Why? Oh, hi Geno Auriemma. What are you doing here? This episode of Beef History is presented by Sam Adams American Light, the most premium light beer. Candace Parker was supposed to be on Team USA in 2016. Look at her trophy case. I don't think they do a trophy for league assist leader, but let's just imagine they did. And what's that over there? Just the medals she's racked up with USA basketball. And 6 months before she was rejected by Team USA, she played really well for Team USA during a 4-game Euro tour. Okay, small asterisk. This was during the 2015 finals, so nobody from the finals teams was on this tour, but still. Parker was 30 going into the 2016 Olympics, and she did miss the first half of the 2015 WNBA season with an injury, but she was fine when she returned. And fine in Candace Parker terms is 19 points and 10 rebounds a game. She was the finals MVP months after the Olympics, which is after, yes, but I bring it up to emphasize that she was still quite good at age 30. According to her own account, Parker did well at the Olympic team camp.
I got a triple-double at the camp. Was, I think, first or second in scoring.
And when I say she was supposed to be on the team, it's not really a matter of opinion or numbers. She was literally supposed to be on the team. She was one of 4 players at the Team USA Media Summit in March. She had portraits taken in the uniform, and she shot commercials promoting the Olympics and USA basketball. So when she was left off the roster, it was a shock, nearly impossible to make sense of. Though people tried. Maybe it was because Nike is a huge Team USA sponsor and she's with Adidas? Maybe it was because she was planning on getting pregnant and worried about the Zika virus in Rio, Brazil. Or maybe it was because of the coach. Geno Auriemma, of UConn Husky fame and success and complete dominance, did these numbers even convey it properly? Like in 2016, Connecticut beat opponents by an average of 40 points. I know, that's more numbers. Alright, how about this? UConn is so good, people think it might actually be bad for the sport. I don't totally get that myself, but it speaks to the extreme, unprecedented power of this powerhouse. In other words, Geno is a really good coach. He has faults. He can be a bit, we'll go with outspoken. There are always a lot of UConn alums on Team USA. Take a look at the 2012 roster. So the team can look a little bit like a Connecticut clique, and maybe that's on Auriemma, but it also kind of makes sense that the school with these stats churns out world-class players. Oh, one thing we should mention about the college coach extraordinaire, he was not Candace Parker's college coach. Parker was the top-rated recruit in 2004, predicted to change the game. She had a column for the Chicago Tribune detailing her senior high school season. She won the McDonald's All-American Dunk Contest. She could have played for any school she wanted. She considered UConn, but that's as far as it got. Live on ESPN, young Parker announced her pick, the University of Tennessee, UConn and Geno Auriemma's greatest rival. Because while UConn is so great, Tennessee is not that far behind them. The schools have competed for a national title 4 times, met in the Final Four twice, and the Elite 8 once. The majority of the time, UConn came out on top. But while Candace Parker was in college, UConn won no titles. Tennessee won 2. Guess who was the most outstanding player both times? And while Tennessee versus Connecticut started out as a rivalry, simply the best teams playing each other for a good-spirited challenge, it got personal and nasty and turned to beef between Geno and Tennessee coach Pat Summitt, which my esteemed colleague has covered in depth. And the beef just so happened to be at its beefiest while Parker was starring in Knoxville. In fact, Parker's sophomore year, Pat Summitt ended the school's regular season series that had been going on for more than a decade. In the last game they played against each other until 2020, Parker humiliated UConn on their home court. She beat them, yeah, snapping their perfect 12-0 start, and she also twisted the knife a little. And post-game she was like, twisting the knife is kind of fun, whee! So perhaps Geno has a preference for UConn players and a distaste for the human representation of Tennessee's success. Could that preference-distaste combo be so strong that he kept Parker off the Olympic team? That's essentially what Candace Parker said in an interview in 2021.
Why do you think he did not want Candace Parker on the team?
I mean, he doesn't like me. I don't like him. I mean, we don't like each other.
She wasn't the only one, nor the first, to state this theory. As soon as the news broke that Candace would not be going to Rio, people were convinced Geno kept her off the team. Especially Tennessee fans, who showed just a hint of bias. USA Basketball didn't help curb speculation when they refused to say why the superstar was cut. Though they tried to take the heat off Geno, it's a committee decision, the coach is not part of the committee. But even the Connecticut press had to admit a guy like Auriemma is gonna have a lot of influence whether he's on a committee or not. How much influence is the debate. The Connecticut press wouldn't cede that Geno had total say, but some in the national press believed he did. And when the most recent belle of the UConn ball, Breanna Stewart, was added to the Olympic team in Parker's place, speculation intensified. Geno said Stewart was added because she was the future of women's basketball. She definitely was, and it makes sense to have some younger players on the team to get experience and learn from the vets and prepare for the future. But is that only true of Candace Parker's position? For Rio, Team USA's point guards were both in their mid-30s. Why not build a foundation for the future in that position? And I don't want to take anything away from Sue Bird, because she's obviously great and Olympic gold caliber at 35 and at 39, and also she's cool and I want her to like me. But the fact that she's a UConn alum, well, those who believe there was a bias saw one there. From within women's basketball, not a lot of people spoke out, which ESPN attributed to the power of USA Basketball. Yet leaving Parker off the roster was so egregious there were some comments. Kelsey Bone of the Connecticut Sun kept it vague, but we know what she was saying. The recently retired Notre Dame coach Muffet McGraw backed up Parker's claims completely. She actually went further, saying even within Team USA, Geno treats UConn players better. But it should be noted she had a bit of beef with Auriemma herself, as evidenced by his response. Now, there are plenty of people who do not think Geno pushed Parker out. They point to the fact that Auriemma was the Olympic coach in 2012 and he didn't cut Parker from the team then. And at first blush, yeah, that's a good point. But let's look a little deeper. As early as 2009, 8 players were simply appointed to the 2012 Olympic team by USA Basketball. The 8 were basically everyone who'd won a gold medal the year before in the Beijing Olympics and was still in their prime, or under 35. That group included Candace Parker. Also, Geno was new. He was announced as coach just a few months before those 8 players were appointed to the team. He might have had less influence as a new hire. Whereas in 2016, he was a gold medal winning coach, and he could, in theory, have more influence over the committee. On the Husky message board, someone claims Geno said as much, but I don't think message boards are admissible in court. And having more influence doesn't mean he got Parker cut. Let's look at something more tangible. How'd Candace and Geno get along in those 2012 London Olympics? They won gold, so I assume everything was... Oh, Geno took away her starting spot early, before the end of the group stage, when they were crushing everyone, sometimes by as much as 40 points. In her place, Auriemma started former Connecticut player Maya Moore, who is really good, no disrespect to Maya Moore, but she was young in 2012, just in the middle of her second WNBA season. And it's not like Parker was doing badly. Even coming off the bench, she led the team in rebounds and blocks and was third in scoring. In the gold medal game against France, she was the difference maker. France was down just 3 points in the second quarter, and Parker came off the bench to put an end to that. Post-game, Geno was full of praise for her. He was a little mean about her less good semifinals performance. But that's Geno. He's outspoken. And hey, given the coach's penchant for being kind of mean in the press, he probably had a lot to say about Parker being left off the 2016 roster, right? No, actually. When asked if he was surprised at a Rio press conference, he replied yes and no, and kind of dodged the question. It was a very diplomatic answer from a guy who has maybe never been described as diplomatic in his life. But surely he had something to say in response to Parker directly blaming him for her exclusion in that 2021 interview.
Like, I knew as soon as he was named the coach again, I was like, oh, well,
So why,
this is going to be interesting.
Why do you think...
Nope, no comment. How uncharacteristic. maybe if what Parker is alleging is true, he doesn't need to say anything. And in fact, it will just make USA Basketball look really, really bad if he does. And USA Basketball is a powerful force who he probably doesn't want to piss off for the sake of all his UConn players who want to go to the Olympics in the future. Am I veering into speculation land? While we're here, it might be worth considering that Auriemma didn't make a comment because Pat Summitt, who he'd long ago made up with, passed away about a month before the Olympics. Not really the time to be snarky. But whatever the reason, his silence can't point to guilt. That's the Fifth Amendment for you. We don't know if Geno actually pushed Parker off the team. We don't know if he has beef with her. He could like her even. He hasn't said one way or another. But what we do know is that Candace Parker absolutely has beef with Geno Auriemma. It wasn't just that she didn't get to go to the Rio Olympics, it's also that her exclusion was done in such a shitty way. Traveling to camps, to media summits, taking promo pics, shooting commercials, that was all a waste of time. Parker's a mom. She had to be away from her daughter to do all that stuff. And she resents that. Who wouldn't? In 2017, USA Basketball invited her to training camp for a chance to make the team again. She declined. Geno wasn't the coach anymore, but that didn't matter. The relationship had been severed permanently. Didn't matter who did the severing. This isn't the kind of beef with a lot of petty back and forth. This might not even be a beef with two sides. But because it's defined by something so big, you get a pretty substantial meal anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. We've got more videos I think you'd like. We've got a subscribe button. Check us out on Patreon. And for Secret Base, I'm Clara Morris. Good night and good game.